hands align. In red and white they always shine. With every pass it feels divine. Arsenal's on my mind. From hybrid days to Emirates grand, each match a symphony perfectly planned. With every goal we take our stand. Arsenal's on my mind.
Hey, welcome back to the next episode of Arsenal on Your Mind. As always, Mr. Sekijay is in the house and Mr. Spike. How's it going?
Still sulking.
Still sulking?
Mm-hmm. Still sulking.
It sucks to be punched in the gut.
Yeah. That was definitely a gut punch.
hmm
Well, that was a sucker punch. We lost to a good team.
Yeah,
You
so I
know,
wouldn't call it a sucker punch, it was a gut punch. Because in all fairness, had they scored that goal 10 minutes earlier, we wouldn't be complaining as much because they deserved it.
yeah, they deserved it. They
Yeah.
deserve to. They deserve to. We did not deserve to win the game, but I don't
hmm
think we deserve to lose the game the way we did.
True, true.
Um, we did they deserve to win the game? Probably. Um, would a draw could a draw been a fair result? Most likely.
Yep. hmm
But we have won games with the last kick of the game. So we just have to take this on the chin and keep stepping.
Yeah. I mean, as like you said, we've lost games I mean, we've won games in the same capacity. Maybe not as often, but we've had some last minute goals for sure. I just think in that particular sequence of events, we should have been able to see it out. There was too much panic. Too much
Correct.
panic, and I attribute this loss just to the fact that our injuries are catching up to us
Absolutely.
defensively.
The cracks are showing.
hmm
I won't say the cracks are showing because there's no team anywhere in the world, especially in Europe, that will lose their two top center backs, you know, and still be producing the results that we are producing,
hmm
and not eventually get found out.
Yeah. And I
Um,
mean, to say we got found out is even a strong word. Like,
well, we got found out. They were a better team in that game.
well, okay,
They
except
they
for the,
controlled the midfield. Our midfield was missing.
uh,
We
I
the,
disagree actually, because
a,
when
a
I look
lot
at my
of
rating,
passes,
when
a
I look
lot
at my
of
rating,
passes, huh?
Mhm.
A lot of passes, and they got a lot of joy from the middle, from the center. Um, you know, maybe you need to go watch the game again.
Well, I
They got
watched
they
it. I
got a lot
mean,
of they got a lot of passes from the midfield to Watkins.
yeah, they
Our,
bypassed the midfield very well, I would say.
they were not doing long balls.
Not long balls, but
Exactly.
like long, not air long balls, but
They were
long
not. They were not
passes.
exactly. That that's just my point. Our midfield was missing, so they were getting a lot of passes through in the
hmm
middle. I mean, I today that game was the first game this season where I was like, wow, our midfield is missing.
Okay.
There was not, and that also exposed our defenders.
hmm
Our backline. And now, given we were playing a makeshift backline,
Yes.
you know, we, I mean, because since the game, I've been thinking, is this the start of the downward
Decline.
spiral
hmm
and all that? But I thought to myself, look, we have not had our best 11, you know, for a few months. We've not let's and I started looking at all the top teams in Europe.
hmm
Let's Bayern Munich. If they lose, their two center backs, they're gonna feel it.
hmm
Real Madrid, the fact that Rudiger has not even been around, and Militao got injured the other day, they're gonna feel it.
Right.
Man City to any team, you
Of
know,
course.
and we have lost our two center backs now for what, like a few games,
hmm
and we were still producing results. We I can choose to be critical about of players, but we'll talk about that in the ratings.
hmm
Um, But I just think before you remember before the game last video, I said we were playing the most informed team in the Premier League, and they showed that they are the most informed team. They're a
Hmm.
good team. They have a very good coach. Who always wants to get one over us.
Hmm.
Yeah, for obvious reasons.
Hmm.
They have a goalie who always thinks a game against Arsenal is the last game of his life, because of how strongly he feels about Arsenal,
Hmm.
and the treatment he got when he was in Arsenal. So then they have a striker who is deceptively quick.
Who?
Watkins is
Well, he's
not
not
Watkins.
deceptive. Everyone knows
Yeah.
he's a burner. He's
Well,
fast.
it really hit me that day. He's quick.
Oh, yeah, he's very. I mean, if anything, he's a little slower now because he's a little bit older. But 2, 3 years ago, he was a burner.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and now he's scoring goals again. Even though he didn't score us in that game, but they were
He should
just
have.
they were good. They're a good team, well coached, well
Hmm.
disciplined. We It's a good experience for us. We've been here before. Now this is a test to the team and to Arteta if they've learned from the past experiences of the past 3 seasons. So
Right.
the next 3, 4 games are going to be very vital to see if Arsenal have really grown and if Arsenal really want to win the championship.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with most things that you said, but I don't agree that they dominated the midfield. I mean, they played pretty much on the counter for a good portion of the second half, I would say. And even their goal came up in the first half, came up a counter attack. And when I look at my ratings and just general ratings across, the sports world, our midfield had a decent rating. So I don't think they bypassed or bossed the midfield, as you said. I mean, I just think when they bypass the midfield sometimes pretty often because of how quick they move the ball, how quick they are as players. And when it came down to it, our defense just wasn't able to cope with it. I mean, we've been praising Timber up the yin yang, right?
Hmm.
Today proved, or not today, rather, a couple of days ago proved that he's just not a center back anymore, like a top quality center back, like he's a right back, And I think I didn't say this in the last episode, but when Mikel did the switcheroo and put White at right back and put Timber center back, Timber played well that game because it was Brentford and it was fine. But I actually was gonna favor playing White as center back over Timber because Timber has just been so good at right back that I was like, why would you change that, And White, if you ask me, he's probably at least he's bigger than Timber, so he can play, and he plays center back. Center back is what made us buy him, if you don't remember, if you remember correctly. So either way, I think Aston Villa obviously they were up for the game. They were very aggressive. The fans were there. They played really well. But in that second half moment that we scored, that period of time, that 15, 20 odd minutes, we looked much better than them, more so than they looked better than us in the first half, if that makes sense. And I just think that, had we been more, as we always say with Arsenal, more positive, right, after that goal, and also with more players available, particularly in defense, to really hold back, we either win that game or we ended it at a draw. Because when we were on, the gap between us and them was larger than the gap between them and us when they were on. Do you get what I'm saying?
No.
I'm just saying that
So
when
are you saying Timber? Are you blaming Timber?
blaming is a strong word, but he didn't play well, right?
Well,
But
but
blaming, I
Ben
can't
White,
blame him,
but Ben White played very well on right back.
right? But did he play? My point is the opposite of what you're suggesting is that Timber plays way better than White ever could at right back.
Well, but
Hmm.
I can bring on the argument that Ben White is in the team of the week.
From this game.
He's in the team of the week. I'm looking at it right
Yeah,
now.
because of the week, because he played against Brentford as well. Remember how they assist? So it was a week, not the game.
Yeah, but he played well in that game.
And he had
I
an
don't.
assist.
If I was gonna blame anybody, first
I'm
I'll
not
blame.
blaming Timber.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
saying
blame it.
that.
I'll
I'm
blame
saying
Eze.
that. Huh?
I'll blame Eze.
Well, that's for one goal, though, right? But look at the whole game as a whole, right? And say, I'm just saying that Timber and Hincapie, but Timber is, and like, they just weren't. a solid, and they don't play together. I get that, right? But
Exactly.
it
They've
wasn't a
not played
solid center
together.
back pairing, to really give us that platform for us to be able to dominate games the way we do. And like I'll put it this way, right? I mean, yeah, you see Ben White, you can say about Ben White, but if Mosquera is fit, Ben White is who goes to the bench, right? So that it tells you that within that triangle of three players that we have to make two spots out of, right? White is the weakest of the three, technically, as the way things go. But either way, I'm not gonna take away the win from Aston Villa. They deserved it. They played well. They hustled. They bustled. You know, what I do think the only weakness Arsenal has, and they've had, I think, under Mikel's tenure, and I've said it before, and you said it before as well, is when the pressure's on towards the end of a game, we don't see out games in the manner of like Man City's and Liverpool's used to. Like this end of the game, you only up one goal. Doesn't matter what team it is, they end up pressing us and we end up retreating. Like I need us to stay on the front foot even when it's one goal.
Yeah, we have to understand that, there's still the psychological aspect of all this.
Hmm.
Because when you were talking now, what just flashed through my mind was Kun Aguero's goal in the last day of the season to
Hmm.
win the Premier League.
Hmm.
That was what got Man City over the hump.
Yes, but I have
Wait,
my thoughts on that day though.
wait.
Hmm.
Now, if Man City had not scored that goal
Hmm.
and won that Premier League
Hmm.
that season, they probably wouldn't have won as much Premier League since then.
Sure.
So what the point I'm trying to make is Arsenal still has that mental blockage,
I agree.
and the only way we can get through that mental blockage is to win the Premier League.
Yes.
So no matter what analysis we put out, no matter what coach we get, no matter what team we get, if we don't lift that trophy, that doubt will always be there.
Hmm.
You see, so until when we do that, then you will see that certain things like seeing through games and all that will come a little bit more naturally because we've gotten over the hump.
Hmm.
You see, but right now, Arsenal still hasn't won the Premier League in 21 years.
Hmm. No,
It's at the back of every player's mind.
I agree with that, right? But when I look at the team personnel wise, we should be able to see out games that are. I mean, I'm not saying we don't see out games, but I always see that wobble towards the end of a game that's tight. It happens more often than not. Mostly we see it out. In
I
whatever
think I
capacity.
think I think we're having this conversation a bit too early. Um,
About
I,
seeing out games.
yes, because we've done very well so far this season.
Yes.
This is just our second loss.
Hmm.
And if we had if we had our full squad and we lost like that, then maybe we'll be having this conversation.
No,
But
I. Mhm.
the team we've just been making. I mean, Hincapié has not played with the same center back in the past 3 games he started. You see,
Agreed. Hmm.
so they've not played enough to have that chemistry. This is
Hmm.
not our first team. It's just unfortunate that we lost the way we did. I would blame it more on Arteta. And we'll get there when we get to the players' ratings. Because we should be when we were 1-1 when we had. I mean, as soon as we scored the goal, um, by the time it was 10 minutes to the end of the game, all I was thinking was take this 1 point and run away.
Yeah.
But the substitutions he made, I mean, is a
The
catch
subs were
22.
fine.
Is a catch 22
Hmm.
because he would say he was trying to go for the game, but
Hmm.
some of us would say it was being a bit naive. Because
What subs? He only brought on three subs, and they were all attacking subs.
that's what I'm saying.
Hmm.
That's what I'm saying.
He should have brought
Because
on defender.
he should have tried to see out the game. You see, a game like this would have been a game where I want to see that midfield of at the 10 minutes to the end of the game, 80th minute. That's
Hmm.
where I want to see Merino, Rice, um, Norgard,
Mendy. Hmm.
or
Oh.
Supermendi.
Hmm.
Do you understand? No, get all those flaying attacking players out. Bring in Grits. and
So
see that game off.
while I agree with that, right, I know that if he had done that, we would be here on this pod saying, "Why is he so negative?" They were
That's
there
what I'm
for the
saying. That's why I
taking
said.
because
That's
we
why I said it's a
looked.
cash. That's why I said it's a catch
Yeah,
22.
true.
You,
But
you
I'll
know,
say this though, subs wise, I don't think it's anything to say. He brought on Trossard, amazing sub. I mean, that's a ultimate super sub performance you can give. Is to come on, score, and then get out again. He brought on Gyökeres, brought on Madueke.
Trossard
Then
has been our best player this season so far.
yes,
Like,
and then brought
like.
on Skelly and
Mhm,
Martinelli, right?
mhm.
So, I mean, to me, nothing wrong with those subs as they were needed because the only other person on the bench who could have brought on would have been Norgard defensively. There was no other defender on the bench besides a young kid, Salmon, right? So, I don't think it's any issue with the subs. I had more issue with the starting lineup. And I think we talked about it after the Brentford game that this is a game that you start Gyökeres, just not because he's going to score as well as Merino, but because he's more of a disruptor than,
Correct. That's
So, I
why.
would have started
That's
Gyökeres.
why I said. My blame lies on Arteta.
Yes, but to me, this is not with the subs, more with the starting lineup, right? And I can't criticize him for starting as a kind of informed, but this would have been another game. This would have been a game for Madueke to start, and then just because they're disruptors, we know Aston Villa, we hate them much as they hate us, right? This new feud that's linked to Martinez
Unai.
and Unai, right? We need to ruffle them. So I would have wanted us to start off more aggressively and then scale it back later. Kind of what you're saying, but in a reverse way, which is earlier in the game, start aggressive and then kind of sit back later. Because here's the thing though, if I'm in Mikel's shoes and I'm standing there and I just brought on Trossard and we just scored that goal and we're dominating prior to that, right? I'm thinking we can beat these guys. Screw a point, like we can beat them. So, but then the team retreated into a shell and let Aston Villa come back into the game. Because literally, I mean, even the commentators said it, that 20-minute spell, they were looking shaky, Aston Villa. We were putting pedal to the metal on them. And once we scored, we backed off. And that was, or maybe they stepped up, either way we want to put it, right? But that I think is where the game turned. We're not able to take advantage of them fully. I mean, we scored, but fully during that time that we were on top. And then, and this is about maturity, and so you're right. Um, Aston Villa, right? If you when they got that last minute goal, I remember they came into the box, right? Then the ball was cleared out. Then they hustled to get it on, and waited for the players to get to the box, then put it back in again. And
The
I
ball was
couldn't
not cleared
help,
out.
huh?
The ball was not cleared
No,
out.
no, no. Before the
Nkapie,
skirmish. No, before the
Nkapie,
skirmish.
yeah,
Hold on, just hold on.
Nkapie had a big touch
Yes, yes. The ball
that he ran it to the
running out
sideline,
to the throwing.
to the
Yes.
throwing.
Yes. But here's what I'm trying to say, right? Before that sequence of play, right? The reason he had to do that was because they were on the attack, right? And they were trying to, they were really heading to, and they were flooding into the box. And the point I want to make about landing this plane is earlier, just a few moments earlier, when Madueke had that breakaway on the far, on the wing, he didn't wait. I mean, he just tried to whip it in immediately, and didn't wait for players. Or they couldn't wait. Nobody came to the box besides Gyökeres. Nobody was willing to get into the box to cause havoc. Like we were content with the point. And I'm not saying it was Madueke's fault or whatever, but the team in that moment, Aston Villa, it's already 94 already, and they all went to the box. All of them crowded the box out. You see, but when we had a chance a few minutes earlier, we were relaxed. We were like, okay, I get it, they're home, so I get the reasons behind it. But my point is, they crashed the box in that moment, and we could have won the game or maybe had a better chance had we crashed the box then. And it's all about the mentality. When you do things like that, the team you're playing against goes, whoa, But when you sit back and like waiting, chilling to see out the game, then they have the impetus to jump on you and get, yes, a lucky goal, but a great goal,
Yeah, it still boils down to what we are saying the same thing.
Yes,
the
yes.
mentality, But I think this will be a good segue to players rating.
Sure.
I'll start. I'll start differently this time around. I'll start from the front. Saka. I thought Saka played well. I thought he was sharp. He was a threat. the ref was terrible, because Saka, there were some calls that, Saka had to show emotion. Saka rarely complains, but he had to complain, So I'll give Saka a 7.
Okay.
He played well. Merino, I'll give him a 6. He was frustrating. He played only for one half, and it was frustrating. He does that thing we talked about. He'll fall. He would try to win a foul when just trying to be sneaky. And the Premier League is not La Liga.
Right.
So to some of those calls you're not going to get them. So I'll give him a 6. Eze, I'll give Eze a 4. Not just because he was caught sleeping for the first goal, but his output was not there. I don't, I've never, if you notice and if you go through our videos, I've never liked Eze on the wing.
Right.
So I give him a 4
Okay.
for the half he played.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give Rice an 8.
Mm-hmm.
He was everywhere. He worked hard. He played very well.
Mm-hmm.
There was the only thing he didn't do was score or give an assist, but he played well. So I give him an 8. Odegaard, I'll give him a 7. I thought he looked good.
Mm-hmm.
He brought the high press, but it was just not our day. Zubimendi, I'll give him a 6, because he there were some forward passes that were there that he did not do. He did not make, and now I'm seeing some of the criticisms that comes Zubimendi's way. He always tends to pass back or pass side by side, and he doesn't look forward. So I give him a 6. Benny Blanco, I thought he played well. I'll give him a 7.
Okay.
He played well. There was nothing he did wrong in that game. His link up on the right. The right was our best, output when it comes to attacking in
Yep.
that game. The left was missing. So Benny Blanco 8. Timber, I'll give him a 6. They conceded 2 goals. They lost the game. I mean, he didn't do anything wrong, but he's gonna bear the grunt. Hincapie, I blame him for the second goal. I thought he should have done better
With the
keeping
ball
the
there.
ball.
Mm-hmm.
Keep the ball. Don't let it. You take a heavy touch that runs to the throwing. I mean, at that time, keep the ball. So I'll give Hincapie a 5.
5.
Yes.
Okay.
Calaboom Boom. I mean, he did very well, played well.
Mm-hmm.
Got a yellow card. Unlucky yellow card. I think that was harsh. But he played well, so I'll give him a 7. Raya saved us. Raya made some saves in that game. I'll give Raya a 7, even though he conceded 2 goals.
Mm-hmm.
They were not his faults.
True.
So he didn't do anything wrong. Arteta, I give Arteta a 4.
What about the bench players?
The bench players,
Mm-hmm.
Trossard, I give an 8.
Mm-hmm.
And my man of the match.
Oh, okay.
Because he came on for a 20 minutes cameo.
I mean, an amazing cameo.
And made an impact. We all knew he was playing with an injury. We all knew he wasn't 100%.
Mm-hmm.
He's my man of the match. And I give him an 8.
Okay.
Who else came off the bench?
Madueke and Gyökeres.
Both of them, I give them a stand 6. 6 is for both of them. So yeah, that's my rating.
So Mikel's 4, I guess, is you said based on the subs that he made or when he made the subs or
Just the entire everything.
everything. Okay. All
The,
right.
the,
So
the bulk stops at his desk.
of course.
I do not agree with his starting lineup.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, Gyökeres should have started that game.
Mm-hmm.
Madueke should have been playing in the left. Why Saka on the right? Then leave Odegaard or Eze in the middle. I would have started Odegaard, and I believe that was what I said in the last pod, and bring Eze on.
Yeah.
And I would have started Norgard in that game.
You keep talking about starting Norgard. Started him or brought him on, you mean?
Either way, he should play.
Okay.
Why did you buy him? And Norgard was a player we all admired when he was in Brentford.
Mm-hmm.
We all admired him. We know he's a good player. He's a
Mm-hmm.
Premier League tested player. He's played in the Premier League for how many seasons now?
Mm-hmm.
He was the captain of his team. And he always did the job in the midfield.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so why don't we have faith in him?
Right. I mean, I have no issue with. I mean, no, I do have an issue with him not getting any game time. I do, but
I would start Norgard or I would play Norgard in the midfield and move Rice to defense.
to center back.
Yes.
Interesting. I don't know about that, but
I'm
actually,
not saying to
Norgard. Well,
start. I'm not saying to start the game, but sometime in the
oh,
game,
I see.
during the
I
game.
see. Okay. 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 Fair enough. Okay. Some harsh ratings there, but otherwise pretty fair. Okay. So my ratings, a little bit different, but pretty similar. I gave Raya a 7. I don't think he could have done anything for either goal. He looked a little jittery sometimes, but he did make some good saves, so 7 there. I don't know. I give White a 6. I don't know. I don't remember. We meant to watch the game again, like you said, but I don't remember him doing anything. I was like, "Oh, good job, White." But he didn't do anything bad either. So I give
Trust
him
me,
a
I've watched
6.
I've watched that game again like 3 times. So,
I think I need to at least watch the highlights again to kind of get a better appreciation for the loss. But I give Timber a 5, and I say this because I know it's harsh, but he didn't, and it's not his fault really because he's not. This is a top team that we're playing. They're top 4. They're in form. And it just showed that he's not like a long-term solution to center back. And and these injuries. This is why I kind of turn on the injuries are really killing us. I mean, 3 center backs injured out of your 4 is a problem. And that can pass by against Brentford of the world and Wolves of the world, but Liverpool's, Aston Villa's, Man City's, we got to worry about that, But he didn't play that well to me. He didn't look his normal self. And I would just, and to my Mikel rating, which I'll get to later, that's the biggest reason why I gave Mikel a low rating as well, because I think that when you look at it, right, Timber has arguably been the best right back in the league this season. I don't see any reason to move him away from that. There's
mhm,
no reason to.
mhm.
And to me, Ben White profiles better as a center back. I don't care, but either way, I gave him Capia a 6. Yeah, he ran the ball out there, but it wasn't a boneheaded mistake. It wasn't like he was just trying. He was really trying. At that stage in the game. So I can't really blame him for that because yeah, it's a throw-in, dude. Like, come on. Arsenal, a throw shouldn't be a threat to you in 94 minutes, So I can't really blame him for that, but I give him a 6. I gave Calafiori a 7. He always plays well these days. I don't think he's gotten a low rating from us ever this season,
Mhm.
Calafiori. Into midfield, I give Mendy a 6 because he again, no issue with his passing backwards. I mean, I think he's just trying to control the tempo of the game, but he's not offering a lot going forward. And he's a great player. I really enjoy watching him as a player. But if you remember back after at the transfer when we signed him and we were talking about Partey, I think my biggest thing I said to you, I was like, listen, man, I know Zemendi will be fine, but I don't think he will offer enough going forward like Partey. And for a brief period, when he scored his crazy goal against Nottingham Forest, we thought, okay, maybe he will be, but he doesn't offer much going forward at all.
Correct.
And that's a concern for a team as dynamic as Arsenal, right? If you were a mid-table team, you can say, okay, my DM, your job is to do nothing but defend, right? But in this case, dude, I expect you to do a little more
More.
forward. Yeah. Rice, I gave an 8. Thought he played really well. He was everywhere. He tried his best, even though he wasn't fully fit either from his injury in the prior game. But a hustler, I mean, man, I don't care about the results. Mikel should do the right thing and rest him against Wolves,
Absolutely.
and the Champions League. I don't care that we need the points now more than ever, but whatever. I gave him an 8. He's my man of the match was Rice, even though Trossard deserves it too. But Odegaard got a 7, and we're gonna have to revisit our best 11 because even though I put Odegaard in there, I screwed up in putting Rice and Eze in the wing. But you didn't have Odegaard at all. You're your best 11. So we need to revisit that because he is better than Eze. I'm sorry, in that role, he's better than Eze. He does it so well. He's not back to but he played so well. I mean, I saw the AFCV guys complaining about Martin Keown gave Odegaard his man of the match for the game, and they couldn't believe, they were flabbergasted. They're like, how could I'm like, do you guys want? I mean, yeah, we lost, but Odegaard was on it. He was trying.
He played well.
Shots.
Yeah, he played well.
Martinez saved. He was trying. He was really
Mhm.
good. So 7 for him. I gave Saka a 7. I gave Marino a 6. Couldn't do much. He's been really good for us. But sometimes we need a battering ram. I mean, the thing is, Kyle, I love Marino and we've praised him a lot, recently. But when you think about it, right, in a game like this, had Mikel gone the other way around and played Gyökeres, then brought him off and then brought on Marino, then you're doing what you suggested, which is kind of button on the hatches without really doing it. So I think that should be the default. This is why I don't think Marino will continue to be the starter going forward, because I think Mikel will know that he can use that change to hold the team down a little bit better sometimes.
Yeah, and we have Jesus now. We need to see what he can do because Jesus can play anywhere up front.
But I guess he's not going to play tomorrow or whenever the Champions League game is because we didn't add him to the team, to the squad list. We didn't add him. I don't know why.
Well, he'll be added in January.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing is, but let me let you finish. Then we'll talk about.
Okay. Yeah. Then Eze, I give a 5. Again, the error for the goal, it's an error. I don't want to overblame him for that. I mean, it's his fault, but he's not a defender, right? So you can't really be like, oh, defend better. And let's be clear. Many of the fullbacks, that's not a goal. Matty Cash is a goal scoring fullback. That's the only reason why it's a goal, So otherwise, that error would have been an error that led to a cross. And everybody forget about it. So I'm not going to really put it too much on him, but he wasn't in the game, again, attacking wise, He wasn't strong on the ball. He wasn't making runs. He wasn't trying any through balls. It wasn't his, he seems uncomfortable on the left.
No, he's lazy.
Well, that too.
Just say it as it is. Eze is lazy.
I mean, he's like Ozil. Believe it, he's giving me Ozil flashbacks.
He needs to step up, or else he's going to end up the way Ozil ended up.
Yeah, but if you play in the 10, you can do that most of the time for most games.
Not
in a big game.
Not in the current days football.
Yeah,
not especially in the Premier League. In Premier League, everybody works hard, and in football generally now, you got to work hard. That's the same problem Vinicius Junior is having. With Alonso. But anyway, that's their problem.
But anyways, Eze gave him a 5. I just think he needs to impose himself more and do more. But again, that's not on the bench. Trossard. I mean, if that game ended in a draw, if we had won that game, that would be the crowning moment for Trossard's kingship in Arsenal.
No, I already think he has the crown.
Yeah,
I already think so.
I mean, to think that Mikel felt that strongly about bringing him on, knowing you have to bring him off in 20 minutes just to impact the game, tells you what Mikel thinks of this guy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyways, 8 for him. Could have been the man of the match. If you share the man of the match award from our end with Rice. Gyökeres and Madrid gave him both 6s. Gyökeres, I think he's never going to be an impact player off the bench for us, Gyökeres. For him to do well, it's to start the game.
Yes, start the game.
That's the bottom line, and play almost the whole game,
Gyökeres is like a train. You have to run the engine.
Yep, you have to prime him for sure.
Yeah, exactly, prime him.
And then Skelly and Martinelli, no ratings for them. Mikel gave a 5. Again, my issue is not I have an issue with the subs, but I have issues with the starting 11. I think maybe I get the Eze one maybe, but for sure Gyökeres should have started that game just because he causes havoc. He'll keep them honest in the back there.
Now, let me ask you this question. Is the transfer window opens up in a few weeks? What position do you think we need to strengthen?
Well, okay. So I thought that center back would be a loan if you could find one, but I was thinking before this game, I was thinking definitely like an attacker, right? But with the fact that Saliba is still not back. I'm like, man, what's going on? This is longer than I thought, right? Maybe he is a little bit, But Mosquera out for the 2-3 months they said, right? And we don't know Big Gabby's return date, and maybe, I mean, I still would say an attacker, a left winger, right? But
Well,
I don't think we're going to do anything at all in the window, to be
no,
honest.
no, no, no. I think we should go buy a defender.
Like a center back.
Absolutely,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it makes sense why Arsenal was, why we signed Nkapia and why we were still looking. You know, um, go sign a center back. Possibly, if possible, if we can get Guehi, go get Guehi.
Ooh, that's going to be a tough one because I think Gray has already told Crystal Palace he's going to leave at the end of the season, right? As opposed to being sold, which is why he
And
accepted
this,
that.
well, we need reinforcement in the back for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean,
For sure.
ordinarily this would normally be a chance for like a young center back, because we have enough center backs.
We're trying to win the league.
I'm
We
just
need
saying,
we need
normally,
if,
but we
even if
don't
it's
have
a
any.
even if it's a short term, get me a center back.
I would, if we have to get center back, I would opt for like a British
Yeah, I'm thinking
battle-tested
Pinnock. I'm
Premier
thinking
League center back.
I'm thinking like Pinnock or Moreno
Pinnacle, yeah,
or
like Dunk
or Murillo. Murillo
hmm
because what's their name?
Forest.
Nottingham Forest now they're not looking like they're serious. Go
Yeah,
get
but
that.
he will cost too much. But
I don't care what we're trying to win the league. We if we don't do anything in January and we don't win the league,
you blame that window. No, okay. So are you still buying a center back if
why
Saliba and
why why why
Gabriel?
why would we even consider an attacker? We don't
Well,
need we don't need an attacker
well,
right
I
now.
said if anything, an attacker, but I
Yeah,
don't think we did anything per
we
se.
don't well we can say we don't. Last week I was saying we don't need anything, but
Mhm.
now it's obvious
Okay,
because with the injuries
so here's a
we
question for
we need
you:
a defender.
Are you still buying a defender if both Saliba and Gabriel are fit end of second week of January?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think. I mean, sure,
Well,
maybe, but
tell us what you think, guys. Out there,
yeah,
fans.
absolutely.
Tell us
Because
what you think.
I think when you boil it down, we have a lot of center backs on the squad. When you count Timber and White and Calafiori and all that, so I don't know that we need to buy a center back, but
Well,
it all
we'll
depends on how
see.
long the injury is for Gabriel.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. But
but yeah.
yeah, it was a tough game.
hmm
But it's not the end. We're still top of the league,
Man
and
City's closer now, breathing down our backs, but yeah,
I'm not too worried about Man City.
I'm a little bit now. 2 points.
No, I'll be more worried about them after January when I see what business they do because they don't have defense. You
Yeah.
see, so I'm not, and Haaland is not going to score in every game.
hmm
You
He
see, so
might
I'm
as
not too
well
worried about.
try.
I'm more worried about Arsenal than anybody else. I'm
Well,
more
okay,
worried
that's
about
that's
what
that's
we do.
that's history. Telling you, making you worried. Of course, we
Yeah,
always
I'm
falter.
more worried about what we do.
hmm
This season, the league is up for the taking.
Okay,
You know,
yeah,
there's no clear team that you go, oh, this team is scary.
yeah,
No, there's
but
none. We were the ones, but now teams are going to get confidence when they are
mhm,
coming against us. So
yeah,
we have to accept put that marker down and go, no, 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 that was just a blip.
yeah.
So
Well,
I
either
still
way,
think.
let us know in the chat, guys, how you feel
Mhm.
about that. Should we buy a player or not? Until next time, guys, we'll catch you later, and always keep Arsenal
On
on
your
your
mind.
mind.
Under floodlights, the fans align. In red and white, they always shine. With every pass, it feels divine. Arsenal's on my mind. From hybrid days to Emirates grand, each match a symphony perfectly planned. With every goal, we take our stand. Arsenal's on my mind. Oh, Arsenal, you never fail. Through rain and sun, our steadfast sail.